I mashed go, Pete.
Awesome. Well, it's wonderful to see your bright and shiny face again, Taylor.
Yes, it's been so long. So very long.
That's code for not long enough, you dirty animal.
When I think about Pete, what I always think is how quickly can I make this conversation end?
Over. Yeah, exactly.
Just get it
If you
done
guys
with,
could
please.
see the displeasure in Taylor's eyes, the pure animalistic hatred.
Animalistic's a good word for it.
More like
What's hilarious, it's like a big old puppy
I
dog.
was gonna say animalistic like a bunny.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've all seen that documentary, Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, yeah. Compelling documentary of true
Yes.
events.
Yes, those bunnies can get pretty intense. I'm kind of laughing because in theory, this whole video will be released that people could just watch us talk to each other.
Oh yeah, yeah. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
You
I'm
could
about to start going back and doing all the old ones.
Oh man, I before I had that headset, there was actually a gaming headset I found in my closet from years past. I think I got it as a mistaken shipment from somewhere. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's a silly looking thing when you're wearing it on a video. The huge gaming headset ear things with a little bitty
It was
microphone.
very Princess Leia.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes. No, we did an episode, the one we did with Mike on Friday. It is now Monday,
Hmm.
and we're doing this because we got the holidays coming up, and Pete for some reason doesn't want to work over the holidays.
Call me crazy.
Okay.
But I do want to give a shout out to some of the interactions we've had on Instagram and YouTube. What's his name? Jeff Barlow.
Jeff Barlow, the one, the
My
only.
goodness, he posted something on his Instagram page, and he doodled our logo for us. That was pretty cool. I did not.
He doodled it and then he watercolored it.
Yeah, watercolor. I stalked him for a bit on his posts and found out that some of his sketches had been in space.
What?
Yeah, he was sketching
Oh,
something
right.
of one of the stages. Didn't realize that somebody he was talking to took it, and then they sent him a picture of his sketch in orbit with Earth underneath it. Like that is a career boost right there. Your drawing has been
Yes, it
in
is.
space on the way to ISS. So
Well, Jeff
thanks.
is, yeah, he's a great artist. He's the guy that does the band in one song. I have a band I was in. He came and saw. I have him on my wall right over there. He just likes music and he likes drawing, and so he synthesized a way to do both at the same time.
Well, good for him. And
Yes,
Taylor synthesizes ways to use that word in every episode from now on.
that's right.
Ah.
Until Pete gets so mad that his head explodes, I will not consider my job done. You know what? Actually, let me just address this real quick. We're making a lot of references that make it sound like we're not happy to see each other, or that I am actually trying to make Pete angry. And truly, nothing could be further from the truth. It is always a delight talking to Pete,
Right,
bar
but
none.
yeah, but if you're not going to insult if your friends, who are you going to insult?
That's right. You got to insult somebody.
Your enemies? Then they just take it seriously.
Yeah, and I can't insult my clients. Well,
Well,
I mean, I guess I could, but I shouldn't. And I did just should my
you
pants. I
shouldn't. Yeah,
am very, yeah.
you may insult your clients sometimes, and
They may be insulted,
they
but
may be
you're not intending to
insulted.
insult them.
That's right.
Hmm.
You make very obvious. You make observations that are very obvious, and they take it offensively. And you say, "Well,
Yeah,
I just noticed that," and you're offended by it.
yeah. Well, I'm so that yeah, we had that great interaction, and then any other Instagram interactions you'd like to shout out?
Oh, actually, we've been getting texts. Another one of our friends from our mission sends us a long text, or was it an email? I don't remember. But
From Gary
yeah, Gary
as a text. Yeah,
Bunker. Yeah, he just
Bunker.
yeah, a lot of support from some fantastic people. It wouldn't mean so much if
Yeah,
these people weren't so cool, but they are really amazing people telling us nice
yeah,
things.
yeah. And I will say that it sure seems that all the people who've been reaching out to us about this have been super dope, very lovely people.
Yeah.
Even ones that I didn't know before, like your daughter Pete, has been extremely lovely with the podcast.
Yeah, she tells me that she's my biggest fan of the Emotional Man podcast. So
Great. Just wait until she hears you cry about when you
Oh,
realized
about
you were
her
her dad?
fat hands. I think she's heard that one before. I think she knows
No,
that. Yeah.
but has she heard you cry?
Oh, um, I don't know. I probably,
Hmm.
when it comes to
All right.
men, I probably cry about on average. So she's probably heard me cry.
Cool. Cool.
Average
Cool.
men.
Cool.
Um. Anyway.
Yes. So today is we're going to give a little hint with the theme of today. Well, you won't need a hint because you'll have seen the title. That was a stupid thing for me to say.
Whatever will it be
However,
about?
could it be about the title? Maybe. I did make a new theme song and it sounds like this. Bah!
Now,
I am very
wonderful.
proud of how that turned out.
Ding
Yes.
dong dong. Love it.
Yes. Yeah, I laughed when I first thought of doing that. It made me laugh very hard, and then hearing the final version also made me laugh really hard.
It was,
So,
yeah. You sent me a text of it a few was the last couple weeks ago. It's like, hey, check out
mhm.
what I made, and I could not believe it. It was like magic. I'm taking the whole theme song and turning it into this bell chorus.
This
It's
stupid Christmas song.
pretty fun. That is pretty fun.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's creativity.
Balanced life, way to go. This will be
That's
released
right.
probably even after New Year's, but still, we're recording it before the holidays.
This is actually going to be coming out the week before Christmas.
Oh, perfect. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so much for me
Yep. Yep. Yep.
tracking where we are on this. I have people who do that for me.
We have a literal spreadsheet that tracks it. That's true.
That's Taylor.
Yes. It's, yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Uh,
Anyway, what are we talking about, Pete?
well, today we're going to talk about not just anxiety, not just stress, which a lot of people experience as a matter of course in their lives, which is could be good or bad. But we're specifically talking about stress during the holidays, maybe where it comes. Why does it seem more burdensome than other types of anxiety that you get? And I've heard this from
hmm
several clients about like, and it's the holidays, like that's worse. Like I have
Do
all
you
this
not have holiday
anxiety.
stress?
Yeah. Well, I do, but I have it in. I don't think it's burdensome. I feel holiday
Huh.
stress as like, got to get this done because I'm excited to do it. But it is stressful. Like you have to get it done. But it comes with like, I don't know. It's kind of like jumping out of a plane, I imagine. Never done that, but I imagine at some point it's going to be very stressful, but yet you signed up for it and you want to do it and you imagine
That's
you're going to like it at
true.
the end
Or you're going to be dead, whichever.
or whatever. So you'll either
Which
really enjoy the
also
holidays.
might also fit with talking about the holidays. You go home for the holidays. It might be fun, might be stressful, and maybe you'll be dead at the end of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Dark, dark, dark. Well,
That's what I do.
in terms of being dead, uh, yeah, I want to talk about general holiday stress from one of the studies I found. It was over 20 years ago, but I think it's still pertinent. They used self-harm as a measurement tool for how you're doing, like during the holidays.
Just
They wanted to try.
just to be clear, they weren't like telling people self-harm how much you hate
No,
this. It was
no. How do you feel about? Yeah, no, no, no. It was trying to gauge the health of a population, which is hard to do. You don't survey the entire population, so you have to find some metric that you think correlates reasonably with what you want to measure. They want to measure well-being, so they'll track incidences of self-harm in hospitals and clinics and stuff. And so they're like, how are people doing during the holidays? They found out that suicides attempts or self-harm attempts drop off 3 times less than what they expected before the holiday, major holidays, Christmas and Easter, stuff like that. 3 days
hmm.
before. And then it picks up by about a 40% increase than what they expected immediately after the holidays.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, yeah. And so they cited something called the broken promise effect or the broken promise
Hmm.
theory. And I thought, when I first read that, I thought, well, you don't want to do anything dangerous before the holidays because you want to be around family, you have promises to keep. But no, it's not about the person, it's actually the promise of the holiday.
Hmm.
The holiday of the experience is promising this euphoric thing. It's going to be awesome. And when you reach Christmas and you're sitting next to Uncle Bob and he's telling you how he got here on the 405 and it took him 10 minutes longer, but hey, I was moving the whole time. And you're just like, dying inside, and you realize Christmas is not what I thought it was going to be. And so there's this broken promise theory of like the holiday actually broke the promise, not the person, which I thought was pretty darn interesting.
That is interesting. Are you saying then that Southern California freeway logistics are not what you hope for from Christmas interactions?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, we all have an Uncle Bob, I suppose. But no,
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I
I'm
think people,
curious if. Okay.
well, I mean, I do have expectations of the holiday. I had to realize that, yes, it may not be the highway logistics of wherever you are, but there are some expectations that, like, I'm going to have this type of food and it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to amazing food the way that I like it. Or I'm going to sit down like I did last year with my brother and we're going to laugh until our sides hurt. Like, you're going to have some type of thing you're looking forward to. And if that looking forward to turns into a rigid expectation, then yeah, you're going to have this bit. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, but that expectation is what's dangerous, I think.
Yeah, I'm curious. You cited if they cited specific holidays because I'm thinking like the high holidays for my Jewish friends or the Hindu holidays, or I wonder if it's a Judeo-Christian, specifically a Christian experience, or if there are other religions.
They did say major holidays. They just said major holidays such as. Then they
Hmm.
cited a few. One of them I did not recognize, which they had called Whit Sunday, I believe.
Hmm.
WHIT. And I am just ignorant enough to not know what that means. I'm vastly too ignorant, but that goes beyond me. I don't know what Whit Sunday is. Let's look that up.
Can refer to a Christian holy day, also known as Pentecost, or a group of islands in
Oh,
Australia.
okay, got it. So that's what that means. Anyway, they cited major holidays such as. I imagine that the same problems of a major holiday are anything. It could just be religious holidays. It could be a vacation. It could be the fact that you like in 3 months you're planning on going on a cruise and you have all this stress and but that's okay. It'll be worth it. I'll have my own cabin or the kids will have fun the entire time or something like whatever expectation you have, you're going into it with those. So I honestly don't think it is about um, major religious holidays. It could be just about
Hmm.
major holidays in general.
Interesting. The therapist in me, and I haven't answered this question. I'm sure you do too. But the therapist in me wants to say, "So what? What's your point?"
What then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that means that holidays you're incredibly vulnerable to having high expectations that could be betrayed. And if
Hmm.
your mind is rigidly expecting something that gets betrayed and it's going to save you from depression or anxiety or loneliness or something, I don't think the holiday is going to fix it. I don't
Yeah.
think you can save that one t-shirt for when you lose weight because if you buy that shirt, you'll definitely lose weight to fit into it. It's
Yeah.
sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. That's an interesting comparison point. And I think the other thing that it does is it grounds you in the reality that it's not you failing, that it's not living up to your expectations. Maybe we can work on changing expectations and making them more realistic and all that stuff. But if you walk out of the holidays thinking, well, that was terrible, it doesn't mean your family sucks necessarily. It also
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you suck because you had a hard time.
absolutely. Absolutely. It could um I think extremes in the way you approach anything is dangerous. The question of where does this where does this stress come from? I know my wife takes a lot of responsibility for things to go well. And if it
Hmm.
goes perfectly, absolutely without a hitch, that is the baseline. She gives herself no kudos for everything being perfect. But if one thing
Hmm.
goes wrong, it's her fault. Don't tell her I said that.
That's a bummer.
I know it is a
Again,
bummer.
something being released to the world.
Yeah, well,
I'm
she's
guessing what you're saying is she doesn't listen to the podcast either.
no, she doesn't. I can say whatever I want in here. She's like an Amish person when it
A
comes to
full
this
Luddite, huh?
podcast. Yeah. But in any case, I consider that one of her strengths. That not that she is overly anxious, but that she owns things, and when she owns them, she owns them. Like that's
Hmm.
one of her superpowers. Um, Sometimes though, she or I or you don't need to own these things.
Hmm.
We adopt these problems. Like even though you have 16 people helping to plan this event, you emotionally accept it as all of you. It's 100% you. I don't know how
That's
you'd
a heavy
quantify that.
burden.
Yeah, yeah, it turns into a heavy burden instead of
Well, see,
1/16th.
Pete, this is where statistics fail you. I don't care about quantification. Let's qualify it. The look of
Ah,
sadness
yes.
and dejection on your face when I said that,
Oh,
like you just took it
but
so personally.
no, but numbers. Yeah.
They have a place. The place is not everywhere. Just like qualification has a place, but it's not everywhere.
Okay, so how would you qualify somebody's range of stress? So, I mean, I've theorized that it's because they adopt all the responsibility.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think that the quality that I'm looking at is not necessarily the quality of how much stress they take on themselves, so much as the quality of the experience of the stress and the implications of it. What
Yes,
does it mean that I'm this stressed? How come I'm like this? Why am I like this? How many times
why
have
am
I
I
had
like
that
this?
conversation?
Oh, I hear that a lot too. Can you just like fix it? Just whatever it takes to just make me not like this.
Yeah, I just don't want to be like this anymore.
Hmm.
Well, but you are like this. So,
We've talked about radical acceptance before. You're a big
yeah,
proponent of that.
yes, I am a big proponent of radical acceptance. I think that just so a little clarification here, when I say you are like this, so let's just work with that. What I'm not saying is nothing can change. What I am saying is here we are. Those are two very different statements. We can become something different, but we have to acknowledge our starting point.
Do you think then the pressure comes from denial then?
Maybe a little bit, a denial of like, you know, like how many times have you talked to people or even yourself gone to a family holiday thing and walked away being like, well, that is disappointing. But then you think about it, you go like, what did I really expect to be different?
Mm, yeah.
So maybe there's a little bit of denial. So hopeful deniability, some optimistic foolishness.
Optimistic foolishness. I think I don't know. There's some benefit to that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty fair.
I'm a big proponent of foolishness in general. Obviously, here we are. Anyway,
Here we are.
it seemed like when we were going through this episode, you had some really practical stuff. I'm here talking about like this abstract like stress, where's it come from, and cognitive process of this. But it seemed like you had some thoughts of really how do you manage a stressful situation in a practical
Oh,
way.
don't put this on me. This is not my fault.
And it was all your idea.
That's true. I probably should take full. It's interesting you say that because normally it's kind of the other way around, where you have solid like, here's what this means, here's what we do with it. And I'm like, yes, but what does it
Yeah, that's
mean?
what I thought. Here I am talking about the insides of people. It's weird.
Yeah, what happened there? What weird, freaky Friday
Role
world are we living in?
reversal.
Ooh. I do. I think it's important to talk about this stuff. And well, one, I really do find a lot of value in that study. Don't tell Pete that I said that, but I do find a lot of value in that study because I think it does kind of normalize the very human experience, which is an important thing in all this, which is that the holidays are not supposed to, maybe they're supposed to be relaxing, I guess, but like then again, says who?
Yeah. Yeah, that
They're just
promise.
not.
Yeah, broken promise theory of like, I think if you went into the holiday knowing that there are no promises, that's the problem. It's people think that there's a promise to be broken by the holiday. It promises something. No, it's
Yeah, this is going to be relaxing.
yes, exactly. Or I'm going to eat that food that was perfect done and the turkey got burnt. Therefore,
Yeah.
it's completely ruined. It's not a fun experience you'll remember in 5 years. It is now awful. It's terrible
Yeah.
because it broke its
Yeah. So I
promise.
have, yeah, stupid douchebag holiday breaking promises.
Yeah.
Um, I think as I kind of thought about this episode, the things that are most useful in my mind are the pragmatic ones. I'm a big believer in pragmatism. If it doesn't work, why are we doing it?
Okay.
So if we're going to talk about navigating holiday stress and managing it, then I think we need to talk about what the stressors are first and foremost. Let's set a baseline of expectation for what stress can look like, and let's talk about how to avoid it, how to confront it, and how to accept it.
Okay. So first, how to see it.
How to see it. Yes. What when you think about yourself, Pete, and well, or people you've talked to, I guess. Don't
Yeah.
have to put
We'll
yourself.
go with me. We can do me. Yeah.
Let's do you, Pete.
Okay. I'm gonna do me every day.
I'll I'll do you too. Wait. Uh, um, I. It's a Lonely Island
Well,
reference.
yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah.
So, how do you qualify the things that stress you out? So, you draw a good distinction between good stress and bad stress, both still stress.
Yes.
How do you qualify stress?
Um, you're talking about my experience then of stress. I
Mm-hmm.
I bite my nails, so I know that if I start attacking them, then I'm having a hard time. I
Okay.
um it's funny, headaches creep up on you, and I don't realize I'm having one until I've snapped at somebody, and I'm like, wow, I'm in physical pain. I've probably been in pain for the last half an hour or an hour because I
Hmm.
have this headache. Um, how else? I get a twitch in my right eye. I think that's sleep though. I think that's if I don't sleep very much.
Hmm.
All in all, my oh, and I get angry. I shut down. Like I have very little patience. Very little patience
Hmm.
when my daughter wants to say "Hey, Dad" about 16 times in a row without asking or saying anything, just saying "Hey, Dad." And I'm standing there looking down at her, and she continues to say "Hey, Dad."
Hmm.
Anyway, I get
What? What do you want? What do
what?
you want?
What is it? I really want to know how many times. But yeah, my patience goes to zero. And that's probably my biggest tell for high stress is that my mind
Hmm.
is everywhere but right here. And so I have little patience for right here. Whatever's going right here can wait because my mind is elsewhere dealing with problems that I'm contriving or that I'm dealing
Hmm.
with. Um, that's my experience with stress is that I have very little patience and whatever's happening around me is taking second fiddle to what's happening in my head.
I really like that you pointed out that sometimes you don't know you're stressed or that you have a headache or that something is wrong until something else points you at it and you go, oh, that's actually been there the whole time.
Yeah.
That's an important recognition as well that it's one thing to be stressed. It's another thing to recognize that you're stressed. They're not the same thing.
That is really hard. I think a lot of work that people do is noticing the moment and backing off and being like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on with me right now? I'm I'm tired, I'm in pain, I'm hungry. Why am I snapping?" The couples work that I've done that has been really rewarding has been
Hmm.
where someone can say, "What's going on with us right now?" and the other person doesn't get offended. They can actually see like um, what is like we're nice people to everyone else and here we are shouting at each other because you opened another box of cereal. Like what is going on
Hmm.
with us right now? Well, um you can step back from the situation, whether it's in a couple or you individually. Stepping back is huge, seeing that I am stressed.
Hmm. I'm very fortunate to have a wife who will tell me when I'm stressed. And
Yeah,
it drives me
yeah.
so nuts. She's like, Taylor, you're clearly very stressed. I'm not stressed. I'm just, dang it, I'm stressed.
Yeah,
Oh.
your neck gets all vascular.
Hmm. Just like things popping out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat where I recognize I'm stressed when I am pulling back, when I don't want to be around people anymore, when I just feel completely drained. When I start, this may shock you, Pete. I'm not good at holding back my thoughts and feelings sometimes.
No idea.
Yeah,
Shocker.
yes. Again, making it sound like we have this contentious relationship. I don't know if I've ever actually gotten mad at you before.
Will you make a point already? Oh, sorry. I was just reading from a listener. That's a comment a listener made.
Mm,
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Yes, that listener, Mister Piotr
Yeah,
Kingsley.
that was him from Scandinavia.
Yes, yes. The point is, that's how I recognize it. I think I mean, and this might be different for other people. Different people recognize stress in themselves in different ways. But assuming that you know what it feels like to be stressed, and kind of rambling here, but I do have somebody I was talking to recently. I was like, so how do you know when you're happy? He's like, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Like, what does your body do to tell you that you're happy? He's like, how do you even answer that question?
Well, you know when you're,
How does it?
yeah. How do you know when other
Yeah,
things are happening? How do you know when you're angry? Like,
he didn't. He couldn't answer for
oh,
any
he had no
emotion.
self-perception, like the
Yeah.
external eyeball type of thing.
Yeah, he's like, do people know how to answer this question? I was like, yeah, people know what it feels like to feel certain things. He's like, I have no clue. It's a very interesting conversation. Anyway, assuming that you recognize what it is to be stressed in yourself, and you're looking at the bodily signs, the somatic experience of it, and you're
Mm-hmm.
also looking at it objectively, saying, here, I'm stressed about this, 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 this. Let's start talking about what to do when you find yourself in conflict and confrontation when you're stressed. How do we set boundaries around things when we are upset and when we don't want to be there? I think that first and foremost is like, if we're going to be radically accepting how we feel, we should probably be honest with where the lines are. And I want to clarify that being honest about something isn't the same as being a dick about something. If I have a boundary I need to enforce, I don't need to be like, well, I don't like this, so you can all go die.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Mm,
do you set the boundary around yourself or about that thing? Like if Christmas is stressful, are you saying I'm only going to engage in it so many hours, or I'm going to take care of these items and that's it for my stress? Or do you set boundaries around Christmas and you say we're going to be at grandma's house for one day? That's it.
that's a great question. And I think the answer is yes. I think
Ah,
that you
yeah, it
set boundaries
depends.
around how you interact with it. And I think you set boundaries around how you allow yourself to interact with it. So if I have a room full of snakes, I'm going to set boundaries around the snakes. They're going to be in boxes. The boxes are going to have lids. And I set a boundary on myself saying, I'm not going to open the boxes and I'm going to leave after 10 minutes.
Yeah, got it. So,
Yeah.
um, your
With parents, that can be hard though, just so we're clear. Like,
uh,
if you're at home for the holidays and your mom's like, well, you're not wearing your Santa hat. Uh, My mom's, my mom doesn't do that. And I hope she doesn't take it personally that I did that voice. It's
no,
not,
that's not your
oh,
mom. I'll
my
tell a
mom,
real
she
story
does listen
though.
to every episode. Please do. Yes.
Okay,
Save
so
me.
for my mom, we had a lot of kids in my family, and my mom is an amazing cook. So I've always appreciated that growing up. We went to visit after I'd been married, and me and my brother, we found a plate of French toast in the kitchen, and we were like, oh my gosh, we'd woken up late. It was the holidays, so we are like, yes, French toast. So we ate until I was full, like that plate was gone. My brother and I were just like, oh. And my mom came out of the kitchen and said, aren't you guys gonna eat? And we're like, Mom, we are so full. And she goes, those were the scraps. And she opened up the oven, and inside the oven was a cookie sheet with stacks of French toast. Beautifully
Wow.
golden, like wonderful, beautiful French toast. And we had eaten the scraps. We'd eaten like the heels and the broken parts and stuff. And we were dying. We were so full. But that whole, like, aren't you going to eat the scraps? And in that moment, it was a little stressful. If nothing else, purely physically.
Yes.
Yes,
I imagine your stomach was stressed.
oh man, the heart was willing, the flesh was weak. So there I was. And if you're talking about boundaries, do I say, no, Mom, I only eat so many French toast? Or is it the boundary around the French toast? And you say,
I
no.
say the boundary is honesty. Honestly, Mom, I already ate so much French toast that if I have any more, I'm going to die. And if she says I'm
That was
offended
it.
by
Yeah.
that, yeah. And if she's offended by that, then you say, I'm sorry. But also, truthfully speaking, if I do this anymore, it's going to go poorly for everyone involved.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, my mom is not that way. But you bring up a good point that totally could happen. If somebody comes and they're like, "Wow, you showed up late," and you're like, "I drove as fast as I could. This is how it is," and
Hmm.
whatever the situation is that they could choose to get offended by. And
Yeah, this is something that comes up a lot. And it kind of drives me nuts when I experience it in my own life when people are like, well, what you did hurt me, therefore you must be wrong.
ooh,
Incorrect.
that's interesting. That happens a lot in
Yeah,
holidays because of the promise of the holiday. I want to hang out with my brother
exactly.
and laugh, and he doesn't show up. What the heck, dude?
Yeah, I've been let down, or I'm expecting you to be here at a certain time and you're not here. Or I expect this to be a fun, happy, joyous experience, and you're not fun and happy and joyous. Therefore, you're failing me. You're letting me down.
Hmm. You should have.
Again, to which I say, not really. Like,
Well, should you apologize for not meeting someone else's expectations, if even if the expectations are reasonable?
if the expectation is stated, yes. If you go into it knowing, like, hey, we have a thing, uh, let's say, oh, to how much to throw people under the bus here.
You're going through a Rolodex of names in your head. I can see which
Uh huh.
person you're going to victimize.
Uh huh. Definitely don't want to do that. Let's say there was a multi-family gathering that many people were carving time out of their schedule to be at, and half the people showed up 25 minutes late
Okay.
to a thing that was supposed to start, and there was a specific activity that was supposed to start at that time, right?
Okay.
I think you are allowed to express dissatisfaction at the people who are late. And I think that there is some responsibility taking that needs to happen where there are always excuses. Well, it's not our fault because, or this thing happened or that thing happened. I understand that, but a lot of people expected this thing to happen at a time. Their time is valuable. They're carving time out of their day to do this. It's fair to expect for them that it's going to be done, that the thing's going to happen when we say it's going to happen. And if there, especially if there's like a time frame where people have to leave at a certain point, like I think, yeah. But if the counterpoint of that is like, if I say, yeah, come over whenever you want, we're gonna eat dinner around
Oh
this time, come over
yes,
when you
and
want,
it's
and they
open.
show up, yeah, and they show up at like 8 o'clock and dinner finished at 5:30, and they're like, where's the food? You can't be like, well, I told you to show up whenever you wanted, and now that you have, I'm mad at you for not showing up earlier.
Mm.
Mm-mm, not how that works.
The first situation you mentioned about unmet expectations, even communicated expectations, it sounded at a certain point that the reason for the lateness in this situation wouldn't even matter. It's the fact that the person who hosted it or organized it was offended and you care about them. Did it matter that it was because your kid was throwing up and you had to drop them off of the babysitter unexpectedly and then get here as fast as you could? Did it matter that it was not in your control at all? It might have been the traffic and they don't know.
I think that does matter. I think that absolutely does matter. I think counterpoint to that though is that if it is a choice that could have been avoided, like let's say the thing starts at 2 in the afternoon
Mm-hmm.
and you get a text saying, "Hey, I just got in the shower." And you're like, "It's 1:55.
Oh
Why are you
yeah,
just getting in the
yeah.
shower right now?"
That that
That's
that
that's a
does matter.
problem.
If it's blatant disregard, I mean that's what it sounds like. That's how I'm translating it. Here I am putting a moral measurement onto it. Like you don't care about
Hmm.
me. That's what that means.
That's what it can really feel like to the
Yeah.
person, and it's interesting too because the person who shows up, maybe they're like, "Well, what? This is just who I am. You should have planned around who I am." They're offended that you're upset at them. It's a whole thing. So I think that there's a fair expectation of expressing hopes and dreams, and a fair expectation of reasonable things that get in the way. Like,
Oh, all right. Reasonable things that make you late. 25 minutes. It was in traffic, and if the person gets out of the car and they're like, "What are you doing? You're 25 minutes late. We couldn't start without you," and they just apologize, and their heartfelt apology is more about like, "I am sorry I couldn't be here too. I'm so sorry we couldn't be. I wanted to be here. We just couldn't." Could
yeah,
would that be something that draws you closer to that person you're apologizing to, or would it be a rift in the holiday? Would it be a broken promise?
I think that depends on the person. I think for me personally, if somebody showed up late and they're like, "I'm so sorry, we try to get here as fast as you can," my lizard brain will probably say, "Why didn't you text me?"
Mm-hmm.
Assuming they didn't. But my non-lizard brain will say, "I understand things happen sometimes, and I'm willing to give, you know, I'm willing to to tamp down my frustration or to not express it or deal with it quite as directly if there's a good reason that they were late that was completely outside of their control and it was not intentional. It didn't feel like a disregard for everyone else's time." But that's my personal experience of that. I'm a big
It's
believer in honest, right? Just give me an honest expectation and be honest with me as you fail to or exceed meeting that expectation. I can work with that. I can totally work with that. I cannot work with, well, this is just the way it is, so deal with it. No, that's you making me responsible for your decision making process, and it drives me up the wall.
Well, now we're kind of at where we started. Where do you feel responsible for someone else's feelings, or they want you to feel responsible for their feelings, that kind of thing. Maybe
Hmm.
that's the boundary
Yeah,
that really matters. You try your
I think
best,
so.
and then set a boundary around you and another person.
Yeah. And again, this is me. This is just me. But I set a pretty firm boundary around my expectations, and I hold myself accountable to my expectations, and I hold other people accountable to expressed expectations.
Hmm.
And if I recognize that there's an unexpressed expectation that I'm holding them accountable to, I'll generally say that, like, "Hey, I didn't tell you this, but I'm realizing like this was really important to
Oh,
me
I
in the
see.
future.
Yep.
This is what I need."
And you're pretty good at that as we've developed this podcast, and I find out that like things that I want to I just take off and do, finding that like they're important to you and you communicate them. So now
Yeah.
we're streamlining it, and I think that would have been so much more difficult if Taylor had been, "Oh, you posted that. That's really interesting that you did that. Oh, you
Yeah, just
chose
super
that
passive
font.
aggressive about it.
That's really interesting." That's well, next
Yeah.
time maybe do it better. That kind of thing.
Oh, dude. Oh, that makes me hurt just hearing it. And I also want to really quickly clarify that I've never had a problem with font. It's a
Oh, you chose that out of all the specifics I mentioned. You're like, nope, font wasn't it, Pete, you big liar. Everything
Yep.
else was spot on. No.
I mean, if you're going to throw yourself under the bus, I'm going to get out of the way so it doesn't hit me too.
Yeah, and
No, but
font
I
was
think
never a problem in our relationship, and everything else.
it was never the font. But you, I think, also can and have said, hey, by the way, there's this. I have a problem with this. How do we do that? It goes both ways.
Yeah, express
in
I
a very
guess,
good
communication then.
way.
Communication is so important then.
Yeah. I mean, the question you keep coming back to, which is who takes responsibility for it? If we go off the assumption that we are responsible not for how we feel about things, but for what we do with our feelings, that is where our responsibility lies. If somebody hurts my feelings and I feel like it'll change the way I interact with them, I am responsible for mitigating the effect of that feeling on that person. And I do that by being honest with them. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and it drives perhaps some people in my family a little crazy that I don't try and hold back to make them happy. And I think my family is at the point where they've stopped doing it with me too, which is really good. It works really well for me. I apologize to them if it doesn't work well for them, but man, it makes my life so much easier
Yeah, you are putting
to
this
just
out
be
on the
super
internet.
direct.
Just
I know,
or
dude.
for all the other
Oh.
family members. When you talk about your responsibility for your attitude, there was another study in 2011 that polled 466 tourists in the Netherlands. And I'll just read part of the abstract here and then translate it. Vacationers, it's called Determinants of Daily Happiness on Vacation. Determinants of Daily Happiness on Vacation.
But
Vacationers.
you're annoying.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. His name. That's right. Jeven
Yeah.
now in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
Vacationers' socioeconomic backgrounds and life satisfaction only partially explain their affective state during the day. Affective state, meaning like how happy they were. What only a little bit was based on their
How
sociodynamic.
expressively happy.
Expressively happy. Your affect is like the observable presentation of happiness. Most of the variance is explained by factors associated with the holiday trip itself. During the holiday, meaning, I think they miswrote this because what they then said was during a holiday stress and attitude towards the travel party are the most important determinants of daily affect balance. Which
I think
means,
that's saying the people you're traveling with, right?
let's see, during the holiday stress and attitude towards the travel party. Yeah, towards the travel party, the people you're with. So it's when they say it's associated with the holiday trip itself, that might be the holiday trip itself. I'm thinking of like the logistics and the money and the planning and everything. But then they said the most important factors are your stress and your attitude towards the others around you, which sounds like sounds like what's going on inside. It really doesn't matter about like how many days you're going to spend in wherever and then go to wherever. It's really about,
if I were to spend 5 days with my wife on a deserted island, that sounds amazing.
yeah,
If I
exactly.
were to spend 5 days on a deserted island with like my last boss that I had at my last job, that sounds awful.
Speaking of how you feel towards your travel party, my wife just texted me, "I love you," just out of the blue, just for no reason.
Aww. She appreciates her travel partner.
Oh, I suppose so.
You suppose so.
I really hope so. Anyway. So it's about who you're with. It's always about the people. That's what I think. It's always about the people. So in this study,
Yeah, I think so.
They basically found the biggest determinants were the people. The people.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking about this podcast, Pete, it's enjoyable because it's you. It's not enjoyable because it's fun talking about stuff I know about, but
Yeah.
if it was with somebody else, it wouldn't be as much fun, probably.
Well, yes, absolutely. So if we're going to suggest some practical ways, let's say that you are coming up on the Christmas holiday, you're going to visit somebody and you're sitting next to Uncle Joe, and he turns and asks you about your political opinions. And you know this didn't go well last year, and your cousins all lend an ear to you to hear if you agree or disagree with their political opinions. I am really curious, Taylor. How would you handle? Well, no, wait. I think I know how you would do it. If
Oh, then
you
ask the question, Pete. Go
okay,
ahead.
how how could you gracefully end a conversation on politics during a family gathering? I don't know if you would end it. I think you might dive into it.
Mm-mm.
No, you would not,
Mm-mm.
huh?
No, I have zero interest in fighting about politics with basically anybody. I'll talk about politics. It's like Jihad, for example. Jihad and I have very different politics. I think you and I also, Pete, have pretty different politics, um, which is fine. It's just great. It's the beauty of America that we're allowed to have different
Yes.
politics. But I don't like fighting with people about politics. So if I'm in a conversation where people are like, "Well, did you know the blah 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 blah,"
Uh-huh.
I generally speaking, again, shockingly to you, Pete, I'm sure, will say something along the lines of, I really don't want to have this conversation right now because I don't think it's going to do anything. It just feels like we're going to argue, and I do not want to argue right now.
Uh-huh.
So
Again,
if you guys want to keep having this conversation, I'm going to go do something else. Let me know when you're done.
yep.
Deuces.
Debate
Not
is
deuces, peace.
debate is for the listeners. Debate is never for the debaters. So if you're going to get
Yes.
into a debate with somebody, they're only going to become more codified in your opinion, and it might maybe influence the people who are listening, maybe only influence them so much to be like, wow, Uncle Bob is aggressive. Nobody talked to
Yeah,
Uncle Bob.
dude, Uncle Bob sucks.
Sorry to all the
I
Uncle
think
Bobs out there.
all the Roberts, the Bobbies. I
Uh-huh.
feel like there are times when in discussion, not in debate, but in discussion, I've had my opinion changed about things, and I'm always really grateful for those moments. And so again, here's the line, right? Like, are we talking because we're trying to uncover something, or are we talking because we're trying to convince somebody of something?
Yeah, that is a line.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in arguing with people about what's right and what's wrong. I
Hmm.
just life is not long enough to justify that. Unless you're like in a dangerous situation, someone's gonna make a really bad decision. Even then, like my approach is just, here's what I think, here's why I think it, and I'm concerned because of the following things. If I'm at a family function and a contentious conversation comes up, I may try and engage, and I would be willing to bet that maybe my family would disagree with my assessment of myself in this. But there does come a point, especially nowadays, where I'm like, this is just not worth it. The counterpoint to this, though, is my mom has told me that she thinks I'm a drama queen.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That totally that totally contradicts you not wanting to talk about something.
I'm direct. It's my mom calls me. She what the mom. I love you so much, and none of this is me throwing you under the bus. This is just kind of the truth. No, no, that was a great horn noise, by the way.
Thanks.
No, I'm very direct, and if I know there's a problem, I just want to address the problem head on so it goes away. And there have been times, especially as I've been younger, where that has come across as me stirring the pot, is how my mom has put it, or being a drama queen. Like I
Mm.
like the drama. Could not be further from the truth. I hate the drama. I don't want it. I want it all to go away as quickly as possible. And to be fair to my mother, she's not the only member of my family who has said that. My sisters both have been like, "Yeah, Taylor, you're kind of a drama queen." I'm like, am I? Am I though? I think I just see problems and I want to fix problems. And once the problem's fixed, we never have to talk about it again because it's done.
Mm. Sounds like any community activist. We just
Mm-hmm.
stop complaining about things. Yeah.
That's not quite my. Uh,
Anyway,
yes.
so your approach to having an uncomfortable situation in a holiday environment would be like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing that I try and pay attention to is if I'm having a conversation that could veer towards problematic, if people try and change the conversation towards something else they want to fight about,
Hmm.
like talking politics, let's say you're talking about the Secretary of Agriculture's approach to beef regulation. And they're like, yeah, well, there's that. And then also, can you believe what they did with chickens? I'm like, oh, we're not talking about the chickens right now. Let's just stick with the beef.
This is the most convoluted political discussion. Now I'm intensely curious about beef regulation.
Yes. Well, there are new tariffs that have been removed for Brazilian beef.
I
Pete.
thought,
It's all very important.
Argentina too, I believe.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm trying to skirt real life examples by not talking about real.
Okay, yes, yeah, way to go. Good job.
But what about you? So let's say you're at a family thing and some kind of conflict comes up, Pete. What do you do?
Oh man, this is a personal failing of mine. But often, if somebody is aggressively browbeating me into listening to them, I will just kind of take it. I might even nod. I've gotten better at it as I get older, but not to agree with what they're saying. Like when they say right a lot, I don't like when people say, and they say World War II was the most important military engagement in history, right? So blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, like we have a lot of important military engagements. And so, but I get hung up without agreeing to anything, that kind of thing. With the way they talk, I feel like I'm getting strung along. I will just kind of stop talking and just
Hmm.
nod. And there was one instance, speaking of awkward conversations, I was in high school and I went to high school for a couple of years in Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, is the Bible Belt. Sorry, okay. But we were in high school and I was in a theater group, and out in the hallway my friends had learned, that I was a member of certain denomination and they were not, and so they sit me down and they talk to me about how long eternity is. Like every 1,000 years a single bird comes and pecks at a sphere ball the size of the earth once, and then another 1,000 years a bird pecks at this stainless steel ball. Like, can you imagine how long eternity is, and then how awful hell is? My girlfriend at the time wrote me a letter with no return address, but I could tell it was her in her handwriting in a colored gel pen, talking about the difference between a religion and a cult, and begging me
Oh,
to come back to religion. And I was just like blown away, like, oh my gosh, I'm just living my life. Like I'm just doing what I want to do. And these people felt the need to save me and to demean my beliefs in a lot of ways. I really think they felt
to be fair
anxiety.
to them, Pete, you were a member of Heaven's Gate for a long time, and we were very concerned for your well-being.
Well, I broke free. No
No
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid for Pete.
No Kool-Aid for me. Um, but in any case, I remember that instance of sitting there for like an hour, them explaining to me how awful my beliefs were and eagerly trying to get me to come to another side. And I just kind of stood there and was like, ah, yeah. And had my eyes open wide and was nodding. And I felt like I was just placating them to get this over with. And I should
Mm-hmm.
have, looking back, I should
Could
have been
have.
an adult. Yeah, shitting on myself. Stood up and said, guys, I'm fine where I am. I'm glad you're fine where you are. Let's both be fine together. And walked off and said
Mm-hmm.
something like that. But at the time I was, a sophomore in high school. The only tool I had was nodding and okaying, and then at the end they
Mm-hmm.
prayed with me and I said thank you guys so much. And that was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
It
brutal.
was a brutal hour long
Oh,
conversion.
oh
It was
man.
hard. Anyway, um so I actively fight against my tendency to placate. And so if Uncle Bob sat me down and said, let's talk about politics, and depending on how aggressive he was, and I might stand up and leave and be like, "Oh, Uncle Bob, you character," and hit him on the arm. But I do have a tendency to just nod and smile.
That's a great way to do it. I think that not everyone needs to be the Taylor McCarrys in the room. Not everyone needs to be, oh, I'm going to set a hard line. You can cut yourself on it. I think there's nothing wrong, honestly, with just being like, huh, you,
Yeah,
Uncle
silly
Bob, just like,
goose.
just get out of here. And, but I think both answers rely on the same basic principle, which is I don't have to be a part of this.
Well,
I
also
can,
maintaining a relationship. Like it's the people of your holiday party that make the difference. It's always the
mhm.
people. And you don't want to come next year and next year think, "Oh, I don't want to go to that party because Uncle Bob will sit me down and he and I had a fight," or like whatever. You think of a way
Mhm.
to manage it to where you can maintain the relationship and not have to give up yourself at all. You're not
Yeah.
losing any of
I
yourself.
think it's important to throw in a big caveat here, and that is we're talking about relationships where there's no actual danger to you. Where if the only danger is people will be upset, but that's it, then this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about like dangerous situations or where you're going to lose housing if you push back or this is,
Oh
if you're in an
yeah.
abusive relationship, that's not,
And how you
don't use
deal
the
with
holidays as the time to
yeah,
fight that.
how you're
I
with
mean,
your
please do fight
family.
that. Please,
Please, yes.
please
And
look for a way out.
this would be different at a family event versus a work event where it's your boss. It's your boss sitting you down
Hmm.
talking about for the 405 and or wants to talk about politics, and how do you navigate a boss who wants to browbeat you versus Uncle Bob? I think maybe
Hmm.
nodding and smiling
Power
and
structure.
not agreeing to anything, but just kind of like enduring that conversation might be
Yeah.
better in that situation.
Yeah. I think there's power structures that need to be considered and there's
Yep.
outcomes that you're trying to avoid and all this stuff. But I do think, generally speaking, if you're in a relatively healthy place, even if they get really like, oh, there goes so and so being all sensitive about the whatever,
Hmm.
then I think you're still allowed to say this conversation isn't actually doing anybody any good, and you're allowed to walk away from it. That's okay.
Yeah, and they'll just be one of those awkward conversations that everyone else in the room goes, and then it's
Yes,
over.
but here's the thing, right? Emotions die down. Feelings might not, but emotions do. And emotion is like the energetic experience of a feeling, right? So like
Hmm.
anger is being angry at somebody, actually physically being angry is impossible to maintain. Being being disappointed, being frustrated, and having like I don't like what they're doing, that is very easy to maintain. But I'm talking about the physical energy of the emotion. It will change. It goes away. So sometimes if you make people angry, you just gotta step away and give them time for the emotion to die down, and then come back and be like, "Hey, that was pretty terrible. I acknowledge that. I don't want to do that anymore. Let's move on to something else."
Hmm.
You don't need to fight about everything.
And say whatever if that relationship is more important than whatever you were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and this like it gets to a very big question: how do you love people that you don't agree with? And I generally feel
Ooh.
like the answer is kind of easily if you don't need to maintain or predicate love on feeling happy with people
I would say
because it's
say
not the
more about
same.
that. I mean,
Yeah, so
happiness
like
is a lot deeper than I think people give it credit for.
I'm talking about like if I don't physically feel in my body happiness when I'm around somebody, that doesn't mean that I hate them. There's a great Soundgarden song called Super Unknown, and the lyrics are like, if this doesn't make you high, that doesn't make you low. If this
Ooh,
doesn't make you
nice.
smile, you don't have to cry. Stuff like that. Like the absence of one does not by default mean the presence of the other.
Yeah,
There's so much
absolutely.
space between those 2 points. So you can totally love people you don't agree with.
I think I've mentioned this before. Another therapist who talked about how do you handle clients who you really don't like, and option one was his favorite. You fake it, and option two is you refer them out or you avoid them, and then option three was the most difficult. And he said you find the humanity in them and you love the humanity, something like that.
Yeah,
Still working on that. That's kind of, and then that's what his whole talk was on that. So how do you find the humanity in somebody that might
it can
turn?
be hard.
It could be. Uncle Bob is talking about his politics, and you're just staring at him like, wow, you must. And your thoughts are something like, he grew up on a farm. He's working his hands with a tractor, or he grew up in a big city, and his parents were wealthy, or whatever it was. Like thinking
Hmm.
about his humanity, what is his lived experience like? And then you're asking him questions, and you're like, well, why do you think that? And like, is that important to this thing? And you start to investigate his humanity as opposed to um, his meaning. And then at the end, there's a strange effect of like when people are asked questions about themselves, they feel like they know you better. So
Hmm.
in a job interview, if you ask questions about them, they feel like they know you better. It's a weird thing. But in any case,
Absolutely.
um, you end up having a great conversation with someone you don't agree with because you're discovering
Hmm.
their humanity in it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my favorite part of my job is the people that I initially am like, I want nothing to do with you. And then the more I listen to them talk, I'm like, oh, I get it. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why people want to hang out with you. There's something there. Um,
I
I
thought
think
you were
that it's
unlikable, but here we found it.
I,
Yeah.
we found it, and they how many times people have thought that about me is probably innumerable.
I'm still working on
With like this, yeah, I know that's fair. This freaking guy,
it. This guy.
but like the number of times that I've been talking to somebody and I've disagreed with them, and I've just really tried to figure out what they're actually trying to do.
Yeah,
Like
what
there's
he's
a lot of
saying.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people I disagree with, and I don't need to agree with them, but how do I love them? Generally speaking, this is my view of the world. I've talked to enough people, and I still feel that people are generally good. I haven't met very many people who actively want to hurt other people. I've met people who believe in things that I think hurt other people, and I think they inoculate themselves against the realities of that with mental gymnastics. But at the end of the day, their goal isn't I want to hurt these people. It's this works best for me, and I'm sorry that it hurts other people. And if you can find that piece of humanity, that's your inroad to loving someone you disagree with. And if you're going to be a little sneak about it, that's how you start getting people to maybe consider another point of view. They love you, you love them, and then you disagree with them with all the love in your heart. Yeah, you're saying that, but also like this is how it impacts me,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes a different conversation.
Yeah, and this all takes a lot of patience and self-awareness, which you might be running low on in the holidays. If you're bursting in through a house with noisy kids and you're hungry and it's, you're tired, you come into the party
Yes.
tired, you might not have the perspective of, what does Uncle Bob really mean by that? It could be very hard when you're lost in the moment to not be objective about it. So give yourself some permission to be uncomfortable and to be rude. And this holiday, you might be the jerk who ruined someone's holiday. That might happen. Allow it to be the truth.
And allow the repair after the rupture. Allow yourself the humility to say, I'm sorry that didn't work out well for you, but I do still care about you. I think that what you brought up brings up a very important, necessary final point in all this. Always have an exit plan.
Oh man.
How are you getting out? Where are you going when you get out? When are you getting out? It's okay to have an exit plan. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't want to be there. It just means sometimes it's time to go.
Yeah. And that will be okay if you leave, like you said, with all the love in your heart and say, this holiday was uncomfortable most of the time, but this is the way it was.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wrote a note here. Even if the turkey is burnt, even if there are arguments between people, even if it's the worst holiday that you've had with that group of people, I hope that you can recover from it. And Taylor and I wish you the best of holidays.
Just the absolute. I hope, and Pete hopes that it's just a very rejuvenative, exciting, relaxing time. That even if Uncle Bob won't shut up about politics, you find other things to talk to him about. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays from the Emotional Men.
Yeah, and Pete, we got a holiday coming up this Thursday. This Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Turkey Day. I have a guy in my cohort of the PhD program who's from Saudi Arabia, and he asked me about that big bird. And I was like, what? And he's like, this holiday. And I was like, oh, turkey's an American bird. Turkey's an American thing. Like he knew about some American guy who had cooked a turkey years ago, and he experienced it, but he was eager to try it here. Anyway, so from our American post-colonial perspective, happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays indeed. All right. Well, good luck, Pete.
Yeah.
With this Uncle Bob you kept talking about.
Oh, man, Uncle Bob. All right. Love you, Taylor.
Love you too, man. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.